It's a pleasure for me now to give the floor to our last speaker, Rabjyot Singh Kohli, self-advocate from India, who I have had the pleasure to listen to 2 years ago at the Conference of State Parties in New York. He's an excellent speaker. Rabjyot, please keep in mind that you have 10 minutes because we need to give the audience also the right to ask questions. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone, I am Rabjyot Singh Kohli. I am 17 years old and currently doing my 12th standard in Commerce with Maths from St. Mary's School, New Delhi, India. I am challenging my disability, orthographic process multiplex congenita, with deformities both upper and both lower limbs. Let me begin by saying that it is a real honor for me to be here, and I would like to thank UNICEF and the CRPD committee for inviting me to come and speak at this discussion group. I would like to share with you all that my school is celebrating its golden jubilee this year. It has given me very pride to say that St. Mary's has been practicing inclusion for the last 50 years. I have spent some time in thinking, what is it that makes a school pick up inclusion? Why is it that my school was practicing inclusion much before the CRPD came into place and continues to do so, whereas there are so many other schools that put up so much of resistance to the idea? I realize that the key factors are: 1, a rights and not a charity-based approach to education, and 2nd is the great commitment with which the school works with teachers, parents and community to ensure that parents particularly understand their important role in the development of the child. Yes, I believe that inclusive education is the right approach to make children with disabilities to be able to earn employment and be independent. But I cannot emphasize enough the need to change attitudes and understanding in society and among educators about children who have different needs but the same rights. In addition to this, studying, I have made so many good friends in school, and it is so important to me and to all others children who are in school, because I learn and play together with my friends, many of who do not have any disability, helps us to understand each other better. Children with disabilities whose learning styles are different from the typical children need to be assessed in a manner different from the timed written examination that is so popular in schools. It is our right to be taught and assessed in a manner that we best respond to. I cannot emphasize enough the great need to empower parents to liberate them from the chains of popular thought that children with disabilities are a burden or a cross that they have to bear. Children with special needs are forced to stay mostly at homes because their parents feel embarrassed to take them in front of the society. It is the responsibility of all the countries that have ratified CRPD to care for the basic needs of everyday child, so that when a child is born with a disability in any part of the world, the parents would accept the child with an open heart rather than being sad and depressed. An empowered, informed parent can make a child, and a disempowered parent can break that same child. I feel I am lucky. My teachers are sensitive and make all effort to include me in everything. But I know that this is not a reality in every school. Teachers all over the world need to be able to teach all children, including children with disabilities, in regular classrooms. I also want to highlight the importance of school-based nutrition programs. If children like me do not get proper nutrition at the appropriate age, then how will we be able to participate fully in the education process? Education is important, yes, but without health, I will not be able to participate fully in the education process. This brings me to the very important area of meaningful implementation. How do we know that Article 24 is actually being implemented on the ground? There are many countries who have ratified the CRPD, but are they enforcing and implementing the policies laid out? Forgive me if I am asking for something that you have already discussed or thought about, but I would like this discussion group to put some thought on formulating implantation parameters so through which we can see whether those who do not have who have ratified CRPD but are not implementing it. To conclude, let me say that it is with much sadness that I realize that little has been done for children with disabilities, at least in Delhi, in India, since I came to speak at the UN CRPD convention in New York in 2012. The CRPD is a wonderful document. This august group needs to think, what is the use of a document if there is no implementation, if there is no change on the ground? I don't want that in the future, when children born with disabilities should have to face the same discrimination and difficulties that I faced when I was looking for admission to first standard. Difficulties that I continue to face when looking for medical assistance and advice. I am never able to truly comfortable anywhere except in my school and home. Even the big, famous and posh places such as monuments, hotels and malls are not built to be accessible to children like me. Simple things like ramps are not installed, and if they are, the angle of inclination makes it impossible to use. The hearing impaired have to constantly deal with audio presentations. The visually challenged have to step through potholes and barriers. School books are rarely available in accessible formats for children with disabilities. The onus is always on the challenged to conform and normalize, never on the able to be different. When I came to the UN in 2012, my father was carrying me around in a small manual wheelchair. I didn't have my own electronic wheelchair at that time. The government of India didn't provide me even this time. But today, I am on an electronic wheelchair. But that is because my classmates and school raised money through the Slow Food Festival. They raised money through the sales of yummy food to buy me this wheelchair so that I did not have to be carried around. They worked hard to restore my dignity to me. The inclusive environment in my school has made students and parents sensitive to the needs of others. If I were to look at the implantation parameters to assess whether my school was inclusive, I would say that the fact that parents, students and teachers work together to ensure that the rights of every child is met, that the rights of one child to equal opportunity was met, makes it a true practitioner of the CRPD. Even after having such a supportive family and school, I am at a loss about the road that I should take after 12th standard, because my decisions can only be based on the facilities that will be available to me. If I am facing so much difficulty in fulfilling my dream, then what about those children who didn't even get the small opportunities which I am lucky to have in my life? Developing countries like mine are fighting on multiple fronts. The child with a disability should not get lost in this muddle. I look to all of you to ensure that children with disabilities are not forgotten. Millions of children like me want and should have the opportunity to go to inclusive school and study and play alongside all other children. That is how we will only learn better but also make society more inclusive. So my call to you is that let us all focus on how we make inclusive education a reality around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabjyot. You made it under 10 minutes. You used 8 minutes and 18 seconds. That is excellent for such an excellent speak.